Here is a house for sale for $69,000 in Fort Pierce, Florida. Very low property taxes, only a couple $100 per year. This is a single family lot. You see you have a nice tree in the front. You have plenty of clearance on each side so you don't have close neighbors. And there's a lot to be said for the lot itself, but there's also a lot of negative to be said for the surrounding area. While the area is not horrible, I took a drive a couple blocks around this house, and I saw police activity. I saw some people loitering. Again, it wasn't the worst neighborhood I've ever been in, but it wasn't the best. Fort Pierce itself has high crime rates, not that great of hospitals, and overall, Fort Pierce has some good parts, but overall, I would say it's considered a bad township or bad city. So it's close to Port St. Lucie, it's close to Vero Beach, and it has positives with regards to the location to the beach and location to a lot of amenities. However, again, the negatives are what type of neighborhood do you want to live in? So now that we've looked a little bit at the house, I did not have access inside it. I took a little bit of a drive around the neighborhood to give you a feel. Now, I checked out Fort Pierce when I first came down here because there was some cheap property. I also checked out Port St. Lucie, Jensen Beach, the Treasure Coast area. The Treasure Coast itself has a lot to offer. But again, the Fort Pierce area tend to be the worst area out of the Treasure Coast. So what I did was, after looking around a little bit at the house, I just went around for a drive. So we'll show that part of the video now. And what you're going to see is the houses itself are not bad. I mean, you're not in the middle of like high-rise projects. You're not in the middle of trailer parks. However, the houses were ran down. There was police activity. There were people kind of just loitering. And the energy, the vibe, and the culture did not seem good. There is straight ahead, right up the street, a public park with a couple baseball fields, basketball courts. It looked like a track. So a very nice public park here. You're about 5 minutes away from the Atlantic Ocean, which is nice proximity. But the few mile radius, see, those are multifamily homes. They were nice. Again, this is during the day. At night, there's a different vibe as well. But overall, like just driving through this looks like the suburbs, okay? Because I've been in bad neighborhoods. This is just like the suburbs. However, in Florida, there's not, depending on where you go, there's not like in most southern states, there's not like high-rise housing projects like New York City. It's like southern country, streets like this that there's just a high crime. And at night, it turns a little bit negative. So this area itself, I can't speak 100% on it, okay, because I did not spend enough time. But being in Fort Pierce and spending some time there and spending a little bit of time driving around this area, I did not feel comfortable. I did not feel good. So what I could tell you is it's a negative. I wouldn't want to buy a house in a bad neighborhood. This was an ambulance and a couple of police vehicles that went down to the street. I didn't even notice, and then I had to turn around. But see, the street itself is just like the suburbs, so it doesn't look bad. But believe me, if you drove around or if you walked around, you would feel the energy. So it's a little bit different. It's hard to explain with the video, but I want to explain that. Look, Fort Pierce has very reasonable house prices, but it has very real crime. And it is a very real bad energy. Doesn't mean bad people, because there's good people in bad neighborhoods. But if I'm being honest with you, if you've never been to this area, and if you've never been, you would just look online. So this is nice. It's cheap. It's worth it. But I didn't feel that. I felt like, it's not worth it. It's cheap for a reason. It's cheap because it's in a bad neighborhood. It's cheap because the community, the vibes aren't good. So I made a right to kind of like get out of the community or so. And then there was more cops. There were like 4 cop cars here to the right. They were all outside. Looks like they were arresting someone. This was the middle of the afternoon, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. on a Saturday. So again, it's just unbelievable. And then there was a guy up here pushing a baby carriage with no baby in it. So it's that vibe, you know what I mean? And so I didn't like it. And as I made a left, that's the public park cross street, as I made a left and I headed east towards Route 1 and the Atlantic Ocean, which is amazing. It's only 5 minutes away. You see there was some more apartment buildings and things on the left-hand side that also didn't have a good energy. So while the area itself, you see a lot of trees and you don't see, like, you know what I mean, anything crazy, believe me, if you got out of your car and if you walked around, and I got a feel for it, it's not a good vibe. So, my thoughts are, I don't care how cheap something is, I would not buy in a bad neighborhood. And a bad neighborhood is defined by this: high crime rates, bad hospitals, bad school system, and bad energy. So, one or two of them you can excuse, or you can look over, but not all of them. Now, Fort Pierce itself, on the beach side, on the side of A1A, is a very nice, beautiful area. But inland, west of Route 1, not so nice. So that's just the way it is. Here was another homeless guy. He almost ran to my car, just decided to turn around on his bike. So it was, I don't know, this is Route 1 here as we approach. But I just want to share some videos with you, share some insights, at least from my perspective. If you've ever been to Fort Pierce or the surrounding area, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Like I said, this is just north of Port St. Lucie, but definitely a different feel than Port St. Lucie, definitely. Vero Beach is to the north of this. I ended up making a right, headed south towards Port St. Lucie. And not a lot of jobs around here. Car mechanics and things like that. I mean, there are car dealerships. There was some, I don't say restaurants. There was some like eateries. Not that nice. There's a power plant to the left. So the area itself doesn't have a lot of job opportunities either. Not high-paying jobs. So it's pretty much lower middle class, and I would say mainly poor. Not, maybe some middle class, but mainly lower middle class and poor. So that's the economics of the area. That's the reality. You have to know all that before you look. Again, it's not worth it to buy something cheap. If you're an investor and you want to wait long term and you don't want to buy stocks or you don't want to buy something else, maybe. But I don't want to own property in a bad neighborhood. Any neighborhood can have bad things happen. I know the Parkland, Florida shooting happened a couple of years ago, and that was in a beautiful neighborhood. So, but for me, I want to be in nice neighborhoods. I do. I've been in all different types of neighborhoods, and I prefer to be in safe, where I feel safe and comfortable. And I didn't feel safe and comfortable there. That's the bottom line. That's the truth. And that's what I wanted to share in this video. Another house for $69,000, cheap. Trying to find some houses that are $100,000 and under to give you perspective, especially for the people that have not come to Florida or never been to Florida, and you're just looking online and you're trying to get a feel. So I know I only gave the beginning of the video showing the outside of the house. There's some pictures online of the inside. It looked decent. But the main thing you need to see is not just the house, is the surrounding area, and get some feedback from somebody who was driving the area and been around the area. So hopefully my videos help you in some way. If they do, click the thumbs up. Subscribe if you like to support the channel. Click the blue join button. I go live every night. We can interact. Thank you for watching. Gratitude to all my members. You can also check out my playlist about moving to Florida and a bunch of other things. And that's it, guys. Keep pushing forward.